Okay, that's started for you now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Bromford and Hodge Ward Forum meeting of Monday, the 16th of October 2023. This is one of our monthly ward forums that we hold every month, alternating between online and face-to-face meetings. I'll start with some introductions. My name is Councillor Diane Donaldson, and I'm the chair of the meeting, and we also have Councillor Majid Mahmood in attendance, my ward colleague. We just had street connectors join us, but they've got their could you just mute your microphones, please?
Sorry.
We're just getting rather a lot of feedback now. Thank you. And we've got Fiona Robertson in attendance, and also Nadeem Aziz, the coordinator for the area, and chair of the HRB, Pat McCartan, also in attendance. So, okay. And I will just advise everybody that this is being recorded. A copy of the recording of the meeting will be available for future record via the council's YouTube channel. So we'll start with some local updates. We have invited the police, as we invite the police to every meeting, but we haven't had confirmation that they are attending today. But sometimes they will just turn up without announcing. So they may attend, they may not. But if residents do have any concerns regarding the police, that please contact either myself or Majid by email or phone, and then we can take those concerns directly to them. Right, so we'll just start with councillors' updates and local news. Majid, do you want to update? No.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Yeah, obviously with the Section 114 notice, we've been really busy with so basically, just in case people who aren't aware of the new processes in place now, with the commissioners who are now working in Birmingham in partnership with the City Council, every day you have a spend control board, so anything that requires spend has to be authorised by the Section 151 officer or the deputies. So it can be small items of say £45 to the large multi-million-pound items that are going through. So key questions that have been asked from people in the ward over the last few weeks has been, are the mobile household recycling centres continuing? For the moment, they are continuing. They're actually very, very popular. So the last one we had on Vetnor Avenue last week, we had 114 people use the MHRC, and I think it was 5.56 tonnes was presented for collection and for recycling. The next one's on the 10th of November on Old Bromford Lane. So if you can share that with your networks, and then on Orkney Avenue on the 28th, I think, of November. 28th of November. Sorry, 25th of October is Hyperion Road. 10th of November is Old Bromford Lane, and then the 28th of November is Orkney Avenue. So we've been trying to spread them out across the different sections of the ward so that people are made aware. We also leaflet households as well. I know Dan did some leafleting over the weekend around Hyperion Road, and I've got some roads left to do as well myself, which I'll get done this week just to make people aware. We also use it on social media. So again, any residents here, if you can also share it on social media and let people know of the availability of that service. We did have initially a budget recovery plan, which was to obviously make savings for the remainder of the year. I think it's about £87 million, still counting because our Oracle system isn't where it should be still. But that now I think has been delayed. It was supposed to happen by the end of October, where we would have had to obviously curtail some of the services that are happening. In terms of the main local issues that have been coming up. Bear in mind, we hold these meetings once a month. Most boards tend to hold them once every 3 months. So we tend to try to like localize some of the issues that have been brought to our attention. One of the biggest ones we're dealing with is it's Brockus Road. It's not the exempt housing properties now. It's more there's some tenants who aren't behaving and letting a lot of people to access their property. That's why I'm a bit disappointed the police aren't here. They've said to us previously, the police, if you have a daytime meeting, we can attend, but they're not here. But there is some antisocial behavioural issues. I did have a video sent to me by one of the residents, which Diane, I think, has forwarded through to the officers dealing and local police. We've still got issue with some trade bins on Cllr Road. So we've had an influx of new tea shops and takeaways on the section between the Fox and Goose quadrant through to where the Tesco entrance is. There's been, I think, at least six new shops that have popped up, tea shops, and they all seem to think that it's okay for them to use to present their large trade bins on the pavement, which isn't, because it is an obstruction for residents who are using that, and obviously pedestrians. That does need to be looked into. I don't think we've got any highway schemes for the remainder of this municipal year that I'm aware of, and we're still waiting on instructions on whether we're going to have a budget for the minor highways. I don't remember it coming through the Spend Control Board, so we're just waiting on that. I think that's and the other key question that keeps coming up is around the retrofitting of properties in Bromford. That's still ongoing. So the ones that have been agreed, they're still ongoing because it's existing contractual arrangement. We're waiting for information from officers as to see if there are any other properties that will be included, and the 300, well, I think it's about 240 something. That we're going to know more than that, actually, between 240 and
300 altogether.
Yeah, that we're going to be, but some of them are in Stetchford, in Yardley Eastwood as well, aren't there? There's a handful in there. So around about 300, safe to say. They're all agreed, but obviously the biggest complaint we have from residents is that they also want to have their council properties included as well. So we're waiting on confirmation as to whether the scheme will be expanded. Once we have that information, we will share that information with you. The same with the site of the old Warstone Tower. Obviously, we have plans there to create a pocket park, and as far as I'm aware, most of that funding is ring fence, but we still need some additional funding for the revenue, which is still being looked into. But whenever you have anything that goes to Spend Control Board, they always run out of time. There's only an hour every day, and then you have to come back the next day. So all of this will sort itself out, hopefully within the next few weeks, and we'll report back to the ward forum. That's all I've got to add, Diane. If there's anything you want to add, then.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that there's the mobile household recycling centres. There's one on Bromford Drive on the 4th of December in the morning, and we're also trying to get them in the afternoon as well, so because they've been so successful, but the only issue has been that not everybody can get to them in that time, so Maggie's looking into getting them afternoons as well if possible. Other than that, advice surgeries, we're looking to fortunately we have an advice surgery at Tesco's, which Tesco's don't charge us for, so we may have to lose an advice surgery because of the cost if the Spending Control Board don't allow us to have it, but we will try and keep the advice surgeries going. Otherwise we may have to look for other venues that are free of charge, basically, but it's important that we keep the advice surgeries going. And other than that, so there have been some issues and over the ongoing situation in Israel and Palestine, which some elected members are getting some very negative correspondence about, and there are threats and protests taking place. Some of the advice surgeries may be cancelled. I don't know. We're monitoring the situation day by day. The dates, all the dates of the advice surgeries, mobile household recycling centres, as I said before, have been communicated to all residents, and if any doubt, we do also put up the leaflets in Tesco's and some of the convenience stores around the ward, so you can always check there, or you're always welcome to call us and we can provide that information. And also the information is on our webpage on Facebook. Okay, any questions? Would you like to ask any questions or concerns, Joanne?
Oh, so Diane, unfortunately,
Hi.
I found more rubbish again on my walk.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone in the community finds any kind of fly tipping, where are we meant to report it to and how?
You can always report it to us. We're happy to report it. You can report via Fix My Street, and you can report by phone directly to the council. The numbers are on the website.
No,
we need
don't.
Sorry.
Sorry, Majid.
Chair, I was going to say that the best place to report it is Brum account if you have one, because that gets picked up straight away, goes straight through to customer services, we pass it on to the depots. And if it's still not sorted, say within 24 to 48 hours, because it all depends where the fly tipping takes place, whether it's highway or housing land or parks, then just feel free to send it to myself or Diane. We can get it picked up pretty quick. We've got a ward crew, one for the housing caretakers, but they've also got other responsibilities around caretaking. And then if it's public land outside of housing, we've got a ward crew for the depot. So we do get stuff picked up. And on top of that, once a month, we have a Love Your Environment in the ward as well, where we have 6 or 7 crews that come to remove graffiti and pick up any items that they see, or those items that have been reported. Unfortunately, last week, we did have some anti-Semitic graffiti in the ward, which the graffiti team have come out really quick, and they did remove it within an hour. We had another spat of basically hate crime, anti-Semitism, and there's going to be, obviously with the current situation, as Diane said, people need to remain safe. And if you do see any incidents, just report them straight away. That's fly tipping, graffiti, especially if you see any graffiti which is of a racist nature, or is connected to hate crime, please do send that to us straight away, because we have to get that removed straight away to stop any other tensions boiling over in the ward. Unfortunately, our advice surgery this Thursday, we're going to have to postpone that as well for the time being, for some of the reasons that I've just said, just so that people remain safe as well going forward. But the one in the church will continue, but again, we need to look at the cost, because that's not free. Thank you.
Well, I was going to say, can I ask Majid? So previously I was using the Fix My Street, but I reported something to it in June, and this is why I asked my original question, because there was a settee, and so Majid, because of my ill health, I'm using the path as like a healthy mental health and well-being thing, but it's been me and my characteristics and traits. I'm getting quite upset and sad about like people letting dogs poo and everything, and all this rubbish that's been dumped. Now, in the situation of the 3-seater settee, I reported it, and Fix My Street kept emailing me. So I did actually flag down a bin man on my healthy walk, but they said they're not allowed to take it. So in this case, I revert to the information that you've just shared with me, because I can understand there's a lot going on and everyone's busy. But I think all people want to know is the truth and where we can direct our needs and wants to.
Absolutely, Joanne.
Okay, no, thanks for that. So, Joanne, Fix My Street isn't a city council portal; it's a third-party portal. It's not administered by the city council at all. And when people report items to them, they then send it to the city council. That's why I've suggested the best way to report is if you have a Brum account. But if you haven't got a Brum account, then don't worry, you can just send it to myself or the chair, and we'll make sure that the items are removed within a very swift response. So despite the restrictions we have on spend control, statutory services are continuing, so we're still emptying your bins, the lights are still on, and any fly tipping that is identified, we are picking it up, and where it's possible, we are trying to identify the culprits in order to take action against them as well.
Yeah, can I just mention about fly tip? Obviously, some parks may be a bit slower than, say, highways collecting fly tipping, and housing, they have a different time schedule. But on my walkabout while I was delivering over the weekend, I noticed that there's some fly tip building materials, and this has happened over the last 6 months or so, that I've been finding fly tipping of building materials. So there's obviously someone going around fly tipping these items. So can I ask everybody to be aware of this, and if you see anyone fly tipping of these, get in touch with me immediately, and if you can get details of the vehicle, please let me know, because we've had one incident where it's there was fly tipped items, and they put them in front of a garage, and it was a lot of concrete and really heavy materials. Well, to get these removed, the local housing team couldn't do it because it needed lifting material, lifting equipment. So we had to get an outside contractor in to do it, which at very great expense to the council. So it's really important, it's vital that we find out who's doing this, because they're letting the estate down, basically. So please help as much as you can to identify this person. Okay, any questions? Street connectors, yeah.
Hi, Diane, it's Paul.
Hi, Paul.
So just in relation to the park space outside the shops, I know Majid mentioned it. Is there any time scale of whether that's going to get authorised, and whether you'll find the money for it, and how will that get communicated with the community either way, either if it's delayed, cancelled, or whether it's proceeding? Because I think as far as the community is concerned, it's the public knowledge is that it's going to be done by March next year, so yeah, it will need communicating either way.
We, as we have the commissioners in now, it hasn't been cancelled, but everything goes through the commissioners, so we cannot, in all honesty, we cannot give a time scale, but as and when we get news, we'll let you know, whatever that is. It's up, but obviously we will be pushing for that. We cannot make the decisions, but we will be stating our case, and that we want to see this park go ahead. So sorry I can't give you any more information, but at this point we just don't have that information. And
what's happening with the community chest that you allocated? So I know there was potential benches, and there was going to be a defibrillator machine. So is that going to be honoured, or is that something that's under scrutiny as well?
Well, we've got Nadeem here, so he can answer that, because he's got all the...
Yeah,
Nadeem, would you like to
morning.
come in on that, please?
Morning, Councillor Donaldson. Morning, everyone. Morning, Paul and Street Connectors. Yeah, Paul, if I can just address your first question around... Obviously, this came out from the Bromford East Birmingham Partnership meeting. If you remember, it was discussed the pop-up park, or the park, or the remedy for what you've been waiting for a number of years around the shops. Now, obviously, Ron made comment on it. Obviously, Ron's retired now. But Paul, I sent out an email to you a couple of days ago, hoping that I can catch up with you possibly on Wednesday this week. There's possibly some external funding, an opportunity where the East Birmingham programme are working with the National Trust. I did mention this at the time when Liam run his meeting, but if you're available, James Carlos from the Inclusive Growth and his strand of work links into green spaces would like to have a conversation with you on potential external funding projects that might be useful for what you're talking about. I know you've been waiting an incredible amount of time, and as Councillor Donaldson said, you know, it's a little bit turbulent in terms of understanding how the financial implication, community chest. I mean, all of that's currently in abeyance. But if we can have a conversation with you, Paul, if you're available this week, possibly between 2 and 3, we can come and visit you. James is available. I'm going to be in Bromford anyway. I have to speak to Tina at Cllr because she's installing, I think, some broadband, and she's doing some work on her roof. So if we can grab an hour with you, Paul, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I'll check my diary. I'll just make sure that time works. But yeah, that would be good.
Thank you, Paul. That's really helpful.
Do we know about the community chest funding though? The allocation for, there was a whole range of things that you allocated a couple of meetings ago around benches and defibrillator machine outside the shops and stuff like that.
I'm not aware of any current in regards to that. I'm not aware of, as Councillor Mahmood just outlined, obviously there's a spend review board. They're looking at stuff on a day-to-day basis. I think that's all kind of trickling through. And I think it was mentioned as well, Paul, at the meeting that Liam Byrne held. It's currently all sitting and waiting. And I think at the end, in the next few weeks, as Councillor Mahmood alluded to, we'll have a fairer idea. Right now, the picture isn't perfect for me either, because obviously there's questions that people are asking, and I just currently don't have. I don't think anyone here in the room currently has any specific answers for that. So what I'm doing as Neighbourhood Action Coordinator, I'm kind of looking at all avenues, including external funding. Now we get external funding reports on a monthly basis, and anchor organisations that we can work with. I've mentioned at the moment the Inclusive Growth team are working with organisations like Birmingham Tree People, the National Trust. They're looking to do some work on a project in Nechells and in Bromford. And when they contacted me recently, I thought about what you were suggesting, Paul. And if there's a way that we can work together in a collaborative way to develop a project, let's see if it can happen. But as I said, there's opportunities potentially, but in terms of the community chest, I just don't have the answer for that.
Street connectors, thank you, Azim. You've got your hand up.
We've got a.
I'm a visitor from Moseley, Better Streets for Birmingham, and we just wondered whether Speedwatch is working well in the area, and we also wanted to make people aware that there is now a national dashcam safety portal where anyone in the UK can actually post if they've got dashcam footage of a dangerous vehicle, both parking or getting too close to the cycles, etc. And they are fining on the basis of the evidence that you provide on that national dashcam portal. And I think if that starts becoming awareness of that, then actually people might start modifying their behavior. But
thank you. And if you could provide the information of that dashcam portal, I welcome that, and welcome to the meeting. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
I'm Colin Nimmo, and the portal is I've just given it to people here, so they'll all right, see if I can try.
And as I've had a dash cam installed recently, I welcome that, because I see regular incidents, but I've reported them, and I've been told that they're not accepted as evidence. So
no, it's not true.
Okay. So let's look at that. But I would advise anybody to get a dash cam. It's reduces your insurance considerably. So hopefully the police will take notice of the evidence provided by dashcam, and if we can get some enforcement from dashcams, that would be great.
Is there an active speed watch group?
No, this is another thing why hopefully now that we've got a new inspector in place, we can get something up and running, because with the previous inspector this wasn't forthcoming, and even though it was agreed that we would have regular speed watch patrols, they never materialized.
Oh dear.
So we're looking forward to meeting with the new inspector, and hopefully we can have these speed watches, which are much needed because it's becoming an issue in the ward.
Yeah. Sergeant Gallen is excellent in the Moseley ward. He's addressing the meeting at 7 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay, unfortunately we have different sergeants. So our sergeant Stobart, well, she's left now, but we're having a new sergeant. We've got a new sergeant, so sorry, a new inspector, and then once we have this meeting, we can put in place regular speed watches, because they are needed.
Excellent.
Thank you. Okay, I've got Majid, who's got his hand up.
Yeah, thank you. Just to cover off some of the points, it's as Nadeem said, the community chest, we were, I think, the first ward in the city to approve the grants to various organisations, and a large part of it was going towards improvements to our parks and installation of defibrillators, which are much needed. But it still hasn't come through, so we still haven't had a firm response as to whether that funding is going to be honoured. But bear in mind, we've got £87 million worth of new savings that have to be procured this year. I mean, I don't know, but it's highly unlikely that they would, if Section 151 off one officers, the funding that they approving at board is those which are statutory obligations, such as emptying of bins, etc. Like we managed to get £100,000 through to get the bins that we need for new properties. As you can see, we need them on Bromford Drive and off Chipperfield Road as well, and for the additional recycling bins. But it's been anything, and then health and safety, you're getting money through for health and safety, but anything else is very difficult to get through unless it's an existing contractual agreement. Now, although we agreed the grant funding, it depends how far that went into becoming a contractual agreement with the other party. So it's still up in the air what's going to happen, and the commissioners are in here now. They do want to have a look at the finances in the council, obviously, because that's what they've been appointing. There's a specific commissioner for finance, and I think until they've had a look through the books and see what's going to happen with a lot of the funding that's already there, then we'll know where we are potentially in a few weeks time. And that also goes for everything else that's happening in the council. There's a lot of a lot of officers themselves don't really know what the future is holding for them in terms of the roles they're going to be playing, whether it's the same role, whether it's a different role, etc. We just don't know. All we know is that the current wording that's been used is recovery. We have to be on this recovery plan in order to put the council back on a sound financial footing going forward. In terms of the speed watch, we're very supportive of speed watch, and working in conjunction with the police to carry out exercises. Myself and the chair have been on a number of exercises with the police. The problem we have with the constituency here is, I think it's 1 or 2 cameras are only available to the police, and that covers about 9 or 10 wards in Birmingham East, so we don't really get our hands on them. If it was up to me, we'd have a speed exercise, once or twice a week in the ward, and get volunteers and get residents involved as well, because we have got specific problems such as Bromford Drive, Stetchford Road, Cllr Road. Cllr Road, we've had several complaints again. I had one yesterday evening as well about people speeding as well, and we have installed pedestrian islands using our previous minor highways budget fund, both on Cllr Road and on Stetchford Road and Bromford Road as well, where the schools are. They have helped with the reduction in traffic, but there's always incidents going to we had that nasty incident on Tyburn Road yesterday where the drivers passed away and the passenger, he's actually a resident of Bromford and Hodge ward. He's critically ill as well. We've had lots of issues on Washbreath Road, which, although not in Bromford and Hodge Ward, is just on the outskirts of Bromford and Hodge Ward. We've had a number of serious incidents, including fatalities there. And I agree. We knew, and as a council, we've got a consultation going through currently. We're trying to reduce the speed on some of the A roads from 40 miles per hour to 30. So I would encourage everyone to get involved in that consultation, and those views will be taken on board. We did try, we did have a conversation with the government to reduce the speed limit on all roads in the city, but it was kicked back. So only a few got through to go down to 20 miles per hour. But it is serious. I mean, I don't think a week goes past now without there being an incident, a fatality or a serious road traffic incident occurring in the city. So it's something that we, as a council working in partnership with the police, do need to give it priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Majid.
Can I
Street Connector, sorry, you got your hand up. Did you want to come in on that one? Yeah.
Yes, please. I don't think we should be limited by what's happening in the UK. There's far better examples in the land of the motor car, the US, where, say, in Dallas or in California, they have traffic management schemes that work because they use the technology that are in the chips in the car to control the speed of the car. It's only our legislation that stops us introducing that here.
Yeah, that's something I've been reading about, that, one day they'll have that, the black boxes you're referring to.
It comes under various names, speed control systems or speed regulators, but basically it can impose on the chip as it goes into a zone the fact that it won't allow that vehicle to go above a speed.
Okay.
If you've got so many people disobeying the law, it's
Well, I think
the
this
only
is,
way to impose the law.
I think something, if the insurance companies continue to have significant claims against them because of these accidents resulting from speeding, they may be pushing for this. So.
And I think you'll find the manufacturers don't want to be associated with the speed guys and with the modified exhaust systems. It doesn't do, and I'll name them, it doesn't do Audi, it doesn't do BMW, and it doesn't do Mercedes any good to be associated with such irresponsible owners.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Any comments on that? Anyone want to make further comments on that one?
No, can I suggest that the guest emails all of this to Councillor Liz Clements, who's the lead member on transport, and also Mary Locke, who's the lead member on Transport West Midlands. I think that would be really helpful.
Delighted to. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll put those email addresses in the chat for you. Thank you, Majid.
Tiffany had another question. Sorry, Diane. A different question.
Yeah.
Hi, Dan. Hiya.
Hi.
Previously spoke to you in regards to the traffic management and safety around First Primary School and down Moatmead Road, I think it is, down the side alley of the blocks.
Yeah.
In regards to the fly tipping, the traffic management, there's no crossings anywhere around there. It's extremely dangerous. The school have put signs out, but you've got two large schools there with cars, traffic coming in, and it just doesn't have the capacity for it, and it's dangerous every time you're taking your kids to school. I spoke to you previously about that and said you'd look into that, but nothing has sort of come from there.
I think the school are doing some work with I can't remember her name offhand, but she does the traffic management for the area, and they are putting something in place. But we've got well, this is something I don't want to make any promises because we don't know where we are at the moment financially, but we've got Bromford Fund, which we can do some initiatives around that, but it's not going to be something that happens overnight. And we're just getting to grips with what the financial implications are for the city, for all of us at the moment. So until we know the basics, we can't, actually promise anything. We're just in uneasy times at the moment. So yeah, we are aware of these, and we want to put something in around that, maybe some traffic management or a 20-mile-an-hour zone or something like that. But let's see what residents would like, if some consultation with residents to see what they would like to see and how they would prefer these issues to be managed.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chair, I was going to suggest that the school looks into signing up to Mode Shift Stars. That's a national award scheme which supports schools and tries to promote more safer, greener, healthier travel. So you basically carry out a travel plan with the parents to see how far they come in and try to encourage the children to walk to school. And given FIRS primary and the demographics around the school children, I think most of them, if not all of them, do actually live within a walking distance of the school. There shouldn't be many that need a car to drop them off. And then from that, you can even look into having a car-free school streets around there as well, like Maltmead Walk and Dragon Road. That's something that would come out of that plan, but the school does need to sign up to Mode Shift Stars and look into a safer way to travel to school. And then we can look at the other initiatives. I mean, obviously, like you, we don't know what's happening with the finance going forward, so we're not sure. Because the other issue we've got, which I'm not sure if people are aware, that currently our highways contract, we get a grant off the government. I think it's £60 million per annum, but there's a serious risk that we may not get that, which means that we would have less funding for transport projects. And then where we do get some income is the Bromford Fund, which is from the penalties and the fees that people paid for use of the clean air zone. So I'm not sure how that's going to be married up in terms of to offset the loss of the other grant that we are potentially going to lose from central government. So I think the school should be encouraged. I'm happy if we can do a letter to them, Diane, to register with Mode Shift Stars.
I think FIRS are already registered with Mode Shift Stars, but it's St Wills that I'll get them.
Yeah, and both
so
of them we
can,
can
yeah,
look
because
at plan going forward.
One affects the other. They're both.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Cheers.
Thank you. Anyone else like to make a comment? Any questions? No? Okay. Right. So, are there any other issues? So, if we move on to any other business, are there any other issues that or concerns that residents would like to raise?
And I was just going to say that for Ward Forum spend as well, going forward, the only sites that we could use are those which are free. We won't be able to use any sites that we would have to pay for. So we just need to be mindful of that going forward. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. As there are no other questions or items on the agenda, I'll bring the meeting to a close, and the date of the next meeting is Monday, the 20th of November, and that's at 3 p.m. at Sandham Grange on the Heathway. This is a venue that we've been able to secure free of charge. Thank you to the Housing Association. And it's in a sheltered accommodation for elderly residents, so they may have their own particular concerns in that area. And then the following one is in December, and that will be online. Again, we're just trying to alternate the venues. So 1 month it will be online, and then the following month a live meeting. So those are all the dates in the diary for this year, and then I'll be sending out information. It will come out on the mobile household recycling leaflets, information of the dates for venues for 2024. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for attending, and thank you for your time this morning. And look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. Enjoy the rest of your day.